First of all, give me yours.
I'm too cardigan-y.
It's too much cardigan. Too much cardigan.
Too much cardigan.
It dampens the sound. It dampens the sound.
I know, but look how cozy I am.
Look how cute and cozy you are.
Are you nervous, Joe?
Of course, I'm always nervous.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Wait.
Nerves are good. It means you care.
I know the issue. I need Nora better.
That's exactly it. Just be you, and you know.
Just be me.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of a show that I am ridiculously excited about, Ridiculous Passions. I'm Kate Rose, and I'm here with my dear friend and co-host, Joe Medforce.
Hello, Kate. I can't believe this is
Hi.
actually happening, right? We're doing this.
I know.
We talked about it for months. First, it was just going to be a show about music that you brought to me, and then I was, on Christmas morning, I told you about this because we spoke when it was Christmas Eve for you, and I woke up and the idea, a name popped into my head, and it was Ridiculous Passions, and I realised what the show should be for not just me, but hopefully if you were interested in it, for you as well, because we've come together and been friends for just over 2 years now. We've never met in person yet. It's entirely been through Twitch, which we'll get into. If you already know us, you may know or you may have a similar story because pandemic, right? Because pandemonium. But there's so much that we share together that we love, that brings us joy, that if we started talking to just any person about, even friends or family, they would look at us like we're absolutely insane, and we would just have to say, I don't care, I love it, in response, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's just, I'm so happy that we're getting together to do this because we've got so much in common, but we're also quite different people, and that's what this show is going to be. We're going to be bringing on friends we've made over the past few years together, people we've met together, people we've got to know together, as well as people we don't know, not just to talk about video games, which is of course the main thing from Twitch, or music, which we're really into. They're going to bring what they want to the show,
right.
And we're going to do our best to just share in that passion that they have, even if it's not something that you or I are particularly into, which I think is just perfect, because we've all come together through so much hardship, but made it worth it through what we all love, and trying to enjoy that together across the sea.
Yes. Absolutely. I love everything you just said. And that's so true, because we have made so many friends through Twitch since the early lockdown days 2 years ago. And, the common thread holding us together was video games. But as we've gotten to know people, I've been friends with some people for a year plus, and I feel like still all I know about them is where they live and what video games they play. And people are so much more than what their favorite console is.
Yeah, and we can. There's certain shared things that a lot of people can agree upon loving, like when the new Marvel movie comes out. Like, that's not to say we won't talk about that kind of thing, but it was so great to find out, for instance, that not just that everyone loved Spider-Man No Way Home when it came out, but it's like there was so much love for those older Spider-Man movies. Like, you and I really started to bond over, like, our love as guilty pleasure feeling as it might be sometimes of like Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire and stuff, right? And freaking Fortnite.
True.
Like, it's not about the game, it's about swimming around as snowmen.
Roll the clip.
Yeah, roll the clip, exactly.
Can we swim?
I think we can swim. I don't think it melts us. I think we can swim. Hold on, let me test the waters, literally.
Oh my god, you're...
I forgot how dopey it looks when we swim as the snow. We kind of just alluded to it. Shall we... And I think you tell it best, because I didn't find you. You ended up finding me, right? In a sense, online. So how about you tell the world, Kate, how that whole thing went down. How did you end up here?
Tell the world our story. Our beautiful story, our
Has to be
beautiful
done.
story
Has
of
to be done.
friendship. March 2020. We don't like to think about it. It was rough. I had just hurt my back terribly. I was laid up in bed. I had, at the time, I was really into the niche category of watching The Sims 4, like building and gameplay videos on YouTube. Some streamers and YouTubers that had these like 30-part series of like a Sims family storyline.
Everyone's here. Okay, good. Everyone freaking strap in for this wild ride.
It was a lot. It was basically like watching a soap opera. And once I had gotten through all of those, I was like, I don't know what else to watch on YouTube. There's nothing else out here for me.
It's like when you. It's like, is it like? Was it like when you're scrolling through Netflix? You're like, oh, I finished that series. I guess there's nothing else.
Exactly. It's like, I want more of this or nothing. And there was nothing left. And I remembered her name is Deligracy. She's one of the biggest Sims content creators. She lives in Australia. She's great. I remember seeing that she streamed on Twitch, and I had barely been on Twitch ever. I had made an account years ago when I was dating this guy who sometimes streamed on Twitch just to like play with his friends, and so I made an account to like watch, and I was like, you know what? I love playing The Sims. I should try streaming. Like, why not? So I set up my like HP like normal like school computer on this little fold out table and downloaded the basics and started streaming, and basically just texted like my close friends and to be like, hey, will you please come watch me and tell me if this is like decent? Like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but like, we all like The Sims. So,
Yes.
fast forward a few weeks and Animal Crossing New Horizons is released. It takes the world by storm. There she is.
I know. What a beaut, right? What a beaut. It was.
What a beaut of a game.
I was on the fence about getting this game. I was like, oh,
Really?
I don't know, because I'd liked Animal Crossing a few years earlier, and I wasn't 100% on it, and I'm so glad I did, because you got it too, right?
Yes. And I honestly don't know if I would have gotten it if it hadn't been for the timing of it, because I had never played an Animal Crossing game. Because I didn't really grow up playing video games, so like I didn't have like the nostalgia of like New Leaf and all the other varieties. But I was like, you know what? Like, why not? Stuck at home, looks cute. Twitter is excited about it. Let's do it.
Yes. The Twitter fervor for Animal Crossing and the general video game hype level for this game it's just.
Oh, yeah.
You only get it with Nintendo and certain weird franchises. Like you do obviously get it with other things, but I think if Sony or Microsoft were like, oh yes, we're bringing out our Animal, even if they had a historic series, I don't think it'd be the same because it's such a weird little game. But go on.
Oh yeah. No, the hype for Nintendo games is a special niche hype, unlike any other console,
So,
I think.
Yeah. And we can't get it, and we can't get into that now. Otherwise, I'll keep talking for the next hour and not shut up.
Oh yeah, okay, that's another topic.
That's a future episode.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I know we just want to get to our love story.
I know, but I love the Sims background because I forgot about that and probably honestly didn't really know because I've never hugely been into it and like we've not properly talked about it. So it's great that your love for Sims on YouTube led you to even getting to Twitch in the first place. Like it's
Yeah.
Yes.
So started streaming Animal Crossing. Somehow got followers at some point. Don't remember how.
Do they always run with sticks? Or are they a part of a new, like, secret club? Is this like Harry Potter role-playing? Pretending they're flying on broomsticks? What is that?
Again, back at the beginning, it was so, like, the hype was so real to, like, get the item you wanted or, like, find the best turnip prices. Remember those days?
Go fishing for, like, sharks and stuff when, with people who are in Australia or whatever, like...
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Wow. Like, honestly, if I could, 2020 was so rough, but if I could just, like, go back for, like, an hour and just get some of that joy that I felt from, like, that excitement
That
of the early Animal Crossing days.
that is a nostalgic nectar, which I think we all want, and you can't go home again with Animal Crossing.
I know.
Unfortunately, like it was a time and a place for it, but it was
It
the
was really
perfect.
like it was like Pokemon Go. Like I think that was the last time that I was so invested and felt so much joy from a video game
It
at
was,
all.
but it was the opposite of Pokemon Go because no one could go outside.
Exactly.
It
Two ends
was,
of the spectrum.
yeah, that summer of 2016 was so magical, and in contrast, the
Yes.
the spring and summer of 2020 was,
Yeah. A
it
little
was,
less than.
yeah.
Animal Crossing brought the magic. It like
Oh, it did.
it kept the flame alive of like some hope and like joy. Like my Switch was by my bed and it was like first thing in the morning, check the turnip prices. Late at night, like, ooh, gotta do the nighttime fishing. It was so exciting. Anyway, I, was starting to stream and I wanted to try to make some friends that also played Animal Crossing. So I did the thing on Twitch where I searched for the game and I searched for viewers like low to high because I wanted the people that like didn't have a lot of viewers, a lot of people crowding the chat, none of the big like partnered streamers because I wanted to just like genuinely get to know people. And I come across this stream and something in the title was like on the road to 50 followers, like trying to hit affiliate. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cute. Like let's see what's going on." And it was you. You were partying on your island. You had some people over and you had like the little Animal Crossing like party streamers and you guys were all dressed up because you were hoping to hit 50 followers that night and then have like a little celebration on your island. It was super cute. And you were classic Joe Medforce, like talking so loud, so rambunctious, passionate, energetic. And I believe I I was your 44th follower, I think, something in the 40s. And I just remember like when I followed, you were like, Kate Rose, gosh, thank you so much. Like, we're gonna get to 50, let's go. And I was like, I have to stick around for this celebration. This is great.
This is the most energetic I've ever seen any British person on a Sunday morning, because it was almost certainly, because I feel like it probably was like the Saturday night or very early
It was
morning for you.
probably well, yeah, it was probably nighttime for me, maybe, or like late afternoon. So I feel like it was probably like in the early morning for you.
Yeah, because I did those, Animal Crossing early burbs, I called it.
Oh,
Back then, yeah, it was early burbs, and I did a Sunday morning like chill Animal Crossing stream, which is so weird to think of now because my energy was rarely chill, and it was just like
complete opposite of chill. Yeah.
yeah. Even then, even before that was I had a different Twitch name then as well. Like I wasn't even Joe Medforce yet, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
I was initial last name, so it was,
Yeah.
so no one could even know what I was. But I had to.
Forgot about that.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
But
Time flies.
it does, and because there's people who you meet in those early, or you met in those early Twitch days, whose names and usernames you probably still remember, who don't stick around, right? Like not through any fault of their own. Like people move on, people go watch different streams, or just stop watching Twitch
Oh, yeah.
altogether. But I think the pandemic really brought those who stuck around for each other together in a way that is unlike anything I've really experienced personally. And it's and that's brings you to right now. Kate and I very recently staying up till, well, I say Kate staying up, me staying up till stupid o'clock in the morning playing freaking Fortnite. I mean, that's a whole nother issue for a different day. But like we, I think that although there's been like, there's ebbs and flows like any, like you're in California, I'm in the UK. Actually, I think people need to know that if you don't know us. Like I am literally here. It's 9:30 on a Saturday night, and it's
1:30 for me in the
yeah.
afternoon.
So yeah, we have that to contest with, but this is something that we've wanted to do for a few months, and I think it's just such a oh god. Basically, to cut it to the quick. we are gonna hug and probably never let go. Like when we first get to meet each other, like it's just gonna be like.
Oh, I am going to sob.
I will cry so much. We will be able to, solve
I'll just
any
be so overwhelmed and so happy. Yeah.
so much
It's
emotion.
gonna be crazy. Yeah.
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 But and then from there, of course, not just Animal Crossing. We played Mario Kart together, of course, a whole bunch.
Oh, yes, the Mario Kart streams.
Yes.
Classic.
Yes. Yeah. But then we discovered it was like, and I think from sort of quite early on, you had made it clear that, it's like, but you were a little bit shy about it at first. It was like, oh yeah, like I really like Taylor Swift. Like when I was watching your streams, like because your alerts were all Taylor Swift themed. And then when I set mine up, I made mine all Prince themed. Like when I finally got around to doing that right, like so it was. I felt like we kind of that was like an interesting maybe mirror, but I was kind of like not off the Taylor train, but I had loved like 1989 and but we didn't know what was going to come from it from there, and Reputation and Lover I knew some of the songs from them because they were big hits, but I wasn't like way into it. So it was amazing to meet someone who was so like you're the Taylor Swift fan I know. Like if I need to know something about Taylor Swift, I will come and ask you,
Yes, my reputation precedes me. I am known across many different friend groups now as the Taylor Swift girl.
No, the Taylor
my cardigan right now.
Yes, the red cardigan.
The red Taylor's version cardigan. And so here's the thing about being a Taylor Swift fan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't always easy. And it took me a few years to admit that I with all of the passion that I had for her music and her as a person, it took quite a few years for me to wholeheartedly admit that she was one of my favorite artists. At first it started with complete denial of oh yeah, You Belong With Me is cute. That's fun, whatever. And but little did my friends know that I was blasting it in the car on repeat, driving home from high school. But in school it was oh yeah, that song's cute. It's whatever. But I'm gonna go back to listening to whatever.
She hit the floor. Next thing you know, should've got low, 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 low.
Exactly, the cool music.
I know, right? What it was back when we could all just unashamedly be yeah, and everyone was just like, there's no problems with any of the artists who's made this song. And then later on, of course, there were many. They will not be named because no. But for those who don't know, Taylor Swift started out as a country artist.
What? I didn't know that. Yeah, and I was very much country music. Oh, that's not, no, country music sucks. And now will I listen to country radio? No. But will I dislike a song only because it fits in the country genre? Absolutely not. If a song is a good song, it's a good song. That's it.
And I think that's an important thing to hit upon, because I had that with other artists, especially in high school. One of the cool kids, freaking, Adam Bloomfield was like, Fall Out Boy are lame, and then
Call him out. Come on, Adam.
He's never going to listen to this, so it's even better. I don't need to do the Try Guys thing of just bleeping all these names. That has an impact when you're a teenager and you care so much about what other people think, right? One cool kid, one, the person who's not your friend, but everyone really likes that person in school or whatever, and you're not really quite sure of yourself just yet. You end up being oh no, yeah, I guess I don't like this thing, which actually I was really into when I heard it on the radio or when my friend told me about this song. And so for years I denied that to myself. Was that something that happened with you? And you were, but you say you had it in secret. You were blasting it in the car, away from when you were away from your friends and stuff.
Not that any of my close friends were bashing her necessarily. I think I had projected so much that I didn't listen to country, and at the time, like, even though like You Belong With Me and Love Story were on pop radio, it was still like, oh, this new young country artist, you know.
And it still had those aesthetic trappings, you know, the dum, 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 like, you know, like
Right.
the
Yeah, you had
plucky,
like
the
some banjo.
yeah,
Guitar. Yeah.
it was very much
She had
tied.
that twang, which we later found out was like definitely fake because she grew up in Pennsylvania and like wasn't from the South at all.
But also because it was the beginning of that era for her where she was getting more into the public eye, and around then in the let me just check my Taylor Swift chronology chart. You know, in the mid to late 2000s, tabloid, you know, like, oh god, like, you know, Perez Hilton, all that sort of stuff was still like so important in our like little like human minds of like, you know, oh my god, what's X celebrity done with Y celebrity now? You know, like, oh my god, Pete Wence's naked picture, like, you know.
Oh my god. Yeah, for real.
And that has
Reminder.
did that have an impact on you? Taylor's the public perception of Taylor Swift as a celebrity, as an artist, or was it not really a factor?
It was 100%. I think any Taylor Swift fan, unfortunately, remembers two major incidences that kind of started to deteriorate her reputation a bit. You know, the 2009 VMAs with Kanye.
Taylor,
Even though that
I'm gonna let
wasn't-
you finish, but
Yeah, exactly. It really shouldn't have been anything negative about her necessarily, but just because she became wrapped up in the drama, it kind of started to like divide people about what they thought about her. And then in, oh God, was it 2014 or 15? I should know, but like,
no. Yeah,
time's a construct.
Exactly. You're
The
good.
whole-
You're good.
the-
Hey, don't worry. Someone will correct you in the comments. Don't worry about it.
If someone wants to give the exact timestamp of when Kim Kardashian released those Snapchat videos, sound off in the comments.
Oh wait, wait, Kim Kardashian Snapchat videos, was this the Taylor approving or not approving
Yes.
of the lyrics in Famous by Kanye West from Yeezus?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Oh no,
So,
not
yeah,
Yeezus.
Kim
Was it Life
Kardashian-
of Pablo? I don't know. I think it was like one of the two.
If you're asking me to name a Kanye West album,
should-
you're asking the wrong girl.
Yeah, he's in the
Do
permanent.
I still get down to Stronger sometimes?
Oh yeah, this
If it comes on, it's a bop. Okay, I'm not going to deny that.
Frustrations separating art from artist. Great music
Yeah.
made by
Yeah.
questionable personalities and people.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. But that's another. That's another. But
That's a whole other episode.
yeah. And I think I can get on board with that. Not necessarily that the tabloid, you know, or the Taylor Swift drama of it all, but it was just, for me, growing up on pop music. But then when I became a teenager, you know, 11 to 12 and beyond, getting so into indie, you know, mainly like pop punk, emo, and indie rock, and you know, a huge mainstream rock as well, because it was the renaissance of that, like the Killers and everything, Blink-182.
Absolutely.
That my identity became wrapped up in that, and so the moment it was like, you know, any popular song, any overplayed song on the radio, it was, or I just rejected it outright. I was like, no, don't like, you know, like I didn't even give it a chance, which was mistake.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like 2011 to 2013, I was dating someone who like exclusively listened to indie music, and so therefore I exclusively listened to indie music. Like all I listened to was like Death Cab for Cutie and Bon Iver, and not saying that they are not bad artists or like at all, they're amazing artists, but like that music is so depressing to be like the only thing you listen to. Like it. Oh my God, that relationship was toxic, but that's a whole other story. Anyway.
That's our podcast. That's our podcast subtitle now. Ridiculous passions. That's a whole other story. But we'll pick up these threads if we want
We're trying to talk about happy things. Okay, this isn't the
Exactly.
ridiculous.
If you're listening or watching at home, just close your eyes and think of Taylor Swift. Think of happy things. Think of cats. Think of cardigans.
Whatever makes you happy. Okay.
Exactly, and it may not be those things, but who can't get down with cardigans and cats?
I mean, if you don't like a nice, comfy cardigan, like I don't know who hurt you.
Where did it go from there from you? Where was the journey from blasting it in the car? Saying hopefully, even if it was inside your head, first of all, like whisper, fuck the haters. It's like, I'm Taylor for life.
Well, haters gonna hate, and
hate.
Yeah. So, post breakup, I'm living in an apartment by myself for the first time on my own.
Wow.
Going to community college, working full time, and I see somewhere on the internet that Taylor Swift is doing like a live stream event sponsored by Yahoo. Can you imagine anything being sponsored by Yahoo in 2022? Because I cannot.
Yahoo! Wow, that really does put it in a place and time. And was that for 1989?
It was. Yeah, she announced 1989. She announced that she was transitioning to pop, and she debuted the music video along with the song.
For which song?
For Shake It Off.
For Shake It Off. Got it.
Yeah, she announced that she was coming out with her first pop album, which was titled 1989. She said, "This is my first single. Do you want to hear it? Also, here's the music video." And it blew up, of course, but not just because she still was like a pretty major artist, but also because she was transitioning to pop. The song was catchy as hell, and people seem to either kind of love it or hate it. Because it was a catchy pop song. And again, that's not for everyone. But at the time, it was just what I needed. It fueled me, and it lit this fire inside me that was just like, it may be cheesy, but honestly, like everything that she is singing in that song is just like what I felt and what I needed to release. And just, it helped me like, I don't know, like just be free. And from then on, if, when people asked, if it came up in conversation, like, oh, that new Taylor song, like, how do you feel about it? Like, no longer was I just like, oh, like, it's okay. Or, oh, that's kind of annoying. I don't know. I was like, you know what? I love it. I love her. I'm so proud of her. It changed from there. And that whole era, the 1989 era, it was just so fun. It was also the time where she was a regular on Tumblr, and she was regularly posting on Tumblr, interacting with fans on there. Like, she would do like cute little Q&As, like inside jokes started on there, and that's when I like really dove into the fandom. And it was so much fun. Like, what a time to be alive and to be a Taylor Swift fan. It was just like, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It was that burgeoning era of radio mainstream popularity, sort of, like you said, she did it through a Yahoo live stream, like just a live stream in general. That back then was not commonplace for artists, for anyone really. Like I didn't know that was a thing, back then. But what I did know was, Shake It Off came out, it hit big, it was everywhere. And of course, me being an ignorant, narrow-minded, like late teen idiot, I can't remember exactly. So yeah, hold on. When was, because that was 1989, 2014. So like, Shake It Off would have come out that year. So yeah. Oh God, yeah. I literally just like graduated from university and stuff like that. I was still so tied up in, just like, yeah, pop punk, emo, just like, My Chemical Romance have gone on, broken up, oh no, and I couldn't accept it. And not that it was some like crusade or like I hated it, but when people asked me if I like Taylor Swift, I was like, no. Hearing you speak about not just it because Shake It Off is an anthemic track. Like it is genuinely, and I think one of the having re-listened to it, the majority of it literally today, going back to it because it's probably I think it is my favorite Taylor Swift album. And it has been ever since I finally was like, oh, well, actually, let's give this a go. And then I realized it was bloody great because it's so timeless as an album. Like that transition to pop, for her to create that and have it be something that is still catchy. That I think if there was to be, you could still make like TikTok trends out of so many of those songs. And she probably has had little, sparks of it because she's on TikTok, like whatever.
Wildest Dreams. Wildest Dreams has been the 1989 like
yes,
TikTok
yes, exactly, right. Like, and that's mad to think that album came out. Yeah, nearly 8 years ago now, and is still kind of.
And you know why I think it's as good as, not that Taylor is not amazing on her own, but why it is so groundbreaking and why I think you love it is because it was the introduction to Jack Antonoff being a part of Taylor's music making.
Yes. And
Out of the Woods. Like, Out of the Woods is going to go down as one of her best songs. Like, no matter how many more albums she makes, Out of the Woods is like nearly pop perfection.
I think it is pop perfection. I still like re-listening to it today. Like when it came back around to that song, I was just in the clear, like completely engrossed. It really does tell a story. And please, if you haven't done yourself a favor recently, it's gonna make you feel good if you go and listen to 1989 by Taylor Swift.
Not only listen to 1989, watch her performing Out of the Woods on her 1989 world tour.
Oh, yes.
It is like oh my gosh, it's nothing like hearing it live. Like, I think sometimes not that her recorded versions are not amazing, but Taylor Swift singing live it actually like makes me cry and like really feel things. Like not only for like the sad songs, like the bops too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, she just puts everything into her performing. And even though she doesn't have like the vocal range of like Adele or Beyonce, like it doesn't matter. Like she would be the first one to say like, oh yeah, I can't belt like Adele or whatever. That does not in any way, shape, or form discredit her as a singer or a performer. Like, people sing differently, and there's a reason why there's so many different genres of music and so many singers in the world, is because we all like to listen to different things and because there's so many different types of music.
And I think there's a character to her voice. I was, rewatch it. We'll go on to talk about Folklore and Evermore, I'm sure. But rewatching the Long Pond sessions, she sits down to sing that live with Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff, who co-wrote and produced the album with her. And that's... Take it from someone who sits in this very chair and sings a lot. It's not the best way to sing. You should sing standing up, so you have the full access to all breath and everything. But it's a choice. She's making that choice, and I finally got on the Taylor Swift train when I sat down and watched and sort of saw on multiple viewings the video for Blank Space, directed by Joseph Kahn, which I still think is one of the best music videos ever made for a perfect pop song. Like, Blank Space is absolutely iconic, and there's earworm songs, there's catchy songs that get into your head, there's songs that are mimetic and capture a moment in time. But for a song like that, it's just right. Even just saying it right now, my brain is going, boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't say it. And you can't not with so many of her songs. And I'm so pleased that by the time we met, I had already, even in a limited capacity, not going back to her earlier work that much, but like, I could say like, oh yeah, I love 1989. I don't know much of her other stuff, but like
Right.
that we were able to share that, and so when out of nowhere in 2020, Taylor Swift released Folklore.
Mhm.
Exactly, a brief moment of silence.
Taylor came to save 2020.
She did. She did.
We did not deserve it, but we were.
But it was
Oh.
all we never knew we needed and more.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, so July of 2020, I wake up to probably about 40 text messages because I have this cute little like Taylor Swift group chat with some people that I met back in the Tumblr days, who live all over the country. Um, Taylor Swift pulls a Beyonce, surprise drops an album called Folklore, and it is, I mean, oh my gosh, like everyone knows that Taylor Swift is known for being a songwriter. When she got into pop, like, you know, that's when some people started to kind of get off the Taylor train because they were like, I just don't like the pop sound. But like, you can't deny that like the one thing she never eases up on is amazing songwriting.
And
Like it doesn't matter
storytelling
what the song sounds
through
like.
song.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter if it's country or like, you know, house pop or whatever. It's like the storytelling and the songwriting is there and it is poetry and it is beautiful. And so ever since I think really since Red came out, which is still one of my favorite albums, um, I had wanted like an indie, like more alternative album from her. And then when she went pop, I was like, you know, I love that she is doing what she loves and what she wants to do. But God, I hope that she doesn't like get away from the storytelling, you know? And again, not that you can't have storytelling in any genre of music, but you know, I still wanted that indie sound so badly. And when I saw that the album was called Folklore and like the sepia black and white style of these photos, I was like, let's go. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for all these years. And it is amazing. Fast forward to it winning album of the year. Not that the Grammys matter, but it's still amazing. Um
And
yeah, and
in a year where so many artists did manage to put out amazing work as
mhm,
well. And Taylor Swift really, as a brief sidebar, was a way in for me with especially female pop vocalists and
mm,
artists. Charlie XCX, How I'm Feeling Now, coming out before Folklore. Like Carly Rae Jepsen released Dedicated before the pandemic, and then a part two following that. But just I think that yeah, there was there was a comfort in the melancholy of Folklore for both of
oh my
us,
gosh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Like we both, by that point, by July, like it was a very hot summer for me in the UK, the same for you, and so
Yes.
to kind of be sharing in this album that was telling a whole story within itself, but also like across a few songs that were actually linked with characters and things, but then
Hmm.
to have it just be, and still an album that resonates now almost 2 years on.
Hmm.
I don't think that Taylor has, well, I don't know if she'll ever release another record like that, even though Evermore was a sister album to it to follow in December of that same
Right.
year. Folklore is quite different to a lot of what she's done in a really fascinating way, and we yeah, you and I, and I'm sure you and all your like, did it sort of almost spark some of those connections again with like your Tumblr friends, or was it more of just like a shared like, this is it's happening?
I mean, whenever Taylor does anything, it's that is the time that my Taylor friends and I talk the most, and
Yes.
it's like, a lot of it is like sharing like tweets or whatever that's like, oh, did you see that someone figured out that like this lyric means this, or
The
that this song's connected
theories.
this way? The theories, the white threads like going across the board of like, what does this mean, and how does this relate back to this?
Invisible strings.
Ah, that's good. That's good. You get a point. You get a point for that. Yeah, and I think that's like, oh my gosh, that was especially what was so special about that album coming out when we still were in lockdown, was that we were all kind of sharing it the same way. It wasn't like the excitement of 1989 where, fans were trying to like message Taylor Nation and be like, fly me out to New York. I want to go to the premiere of this and the premiere of that. And we're going to have like giant watch parties. And sometimes, I'd be sitting at home on my computer, like, I feel left out. Like, I don't have any friends to like do that with. But this time we were all experiencing the album the exact same way. And I think that was what was so special during a time that was so heartbreaking and difficult for so many people, at least for those who chose to, join in on that. Like, it was a great way to connect.
It felt like a release, didn't it? Not just not an album release, not a release of a video or whatever. Not a it felt like a relief for
Yeah.
and a reason to actually open up and share in feelings that we all felt in various degrees. Even if we hadn't lost anyone, grief, mourning
Yeah.
for what could have been that year, what uncertainty and fear about what the future was going to be, not just for us all, but for us individually. And I remember, I think even before that album came out, you mentioned earlier on when you started streaming, you said, I don't know what I'm doing, and that was the case for me.
That's me every day of my life. But yes,
but it's the every day of everyone's life. Like, none of us really know what we're doing, and I remember you and I had like conversations late into the night where we were both part of this thing, and had met so many of the same people and had mutual friends, and there was, and we would both just trying to figure it out together, and therefore to have these touchstones, the comfort of like Animal Crossing, and then that shared, just excitement into the measured like melancholy and excuse to feel of Folklore. It really, I will never forget the fact that I woke up like as early as I could for you and I to sit on Disney Plus on Discord, just you and me, watching when we found out that Taylor Swift had recorded an entire film of her playing the album live in this little cabin in the freaking woods at Long Pond. We watched it, and we couldn't quite finish it because I had to actually go to freaking work like when it came out. But it was so special, and I think that's it. I don't know. It's fantastic and incredible, and there's too many superlatives to potentially describe it, I should say.
And that is what's so important about trying to find people, whether you call it a tribe or whatever, to find people, whether they are niche things or not, to be open about the things that you love and are passionate about, because there's the fear of rejection or getting made fun of or whatever, the internal narrative is, but it also could end up really good because, if I hadn't shared that with you, I'd be possibly watching that film by myself. And instead, you were so sweet and you were like, this movie is coming out, and who I know likes Taylor Swift? Cait. You know who I should watch this with? Cait.
Yes.
And you messaged me and you said, you know what? We need to watch this together. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love nothing more. I know how much you love Folklore because we've gotten to talk about it. Let's watch this together and cry.
Yes, we did. We both did. We were both sort of like on this voice call, like, just.
You were like so quiet because it was just like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, yep. Here's the emotions. They're coming in. They're coming in. And I honestly think, because we know that we can talk for hours and hours more, evermore, one might say.
Evermore.
But I genuinely think that is a great place to start to close out this first episode of Ridiculous Passions. Because, as you said, Cait, this is going to be a show and a place and a space for you watching, listening out there to hopefully share in what you love or discover something new that might become a new passion for you, something you're ridiculously excited about. And if you want to be part of this, please just do all the things. This is a brand new show. This is the very first episode. Please follow us, at Passions Pod on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to do our best to get this up on the podcast services, Apple, Spotify. Follow, do the things there. Share it with your friends and other people. If you know someone who is crazy excited and loves something so much that it hurts sometimes inside, tell them about the show. Or if it's you, please get in touch with us. I'm at Joe Medforce on Twitter, or you can at Passions Pod, and of course Cait is at CaitRose92 on Twitter as well, and wherever else on the internet. If you find us, then you're part of that tribe, you're part of that found family, the collective friends who are going to share in all this together. So thank you so much for watching, and more importantly, Cait, thank you for doing this with me. We're doing it, and I've loved it so far.
I've loved it too. I am so excited. I feel like we are very compatible. We have so much in common. You bring, the excitement. I bring I'm a little shy, but I'm growing. I'm trying to get out of my shell more.
Like a flower in coming into bloom, one might say.
Ooh, perhaps. Yes. Yes, this has been amazing. And, tell us in the comments what you're passionate about. Tell us about your niche, hobby, favorite artist, whatever it may be, because I want to know.
Yes.
I want to share in that passion and excitement with you.
We would love to know. And please stay tuned, because, Cait, do we have some amazing guests lined up for future episodes? It's not just going to be us rambling on about, music and what we love. We're going to be bringing in people, aren't we?
We're bringing in some friends. It's going to be a good time.
Friends and family, maybe. Found family. I don't think I could ever get any more of my family
Some
members.
familiar faces for those of our dear friends who already know and are part of our little friend community. Yes.
But if you're just stumbling upon this, they're fantastic people and you're not going to want to miss out. So turn those notifications on, all of the things, and until next time, stay ridiculously passionate. Bye.